Does your team have a leadership void?
When we're in the offensive line, where you,
just overall, when these.
But seriously, where would you have a leadership void? Is it an experience void? Is it a talent void? Is it a leadership void? I'm not trying to be cute here. The answer is no. The answer is no.
I'm asking.
There's not a. Well, just shut up and let me answer. No.
Jerry, when you go into the locker room, what I'm asking is, do you see the intangibles?
You're not asking me that. I gave you the answer. When I go into the locker room, there's no leadership void in my eyes.
Okay.
Now that's your answer. Let's move on.
When Jerry Jones speaks, we listen. Hey, Kyle, it's time for a little believe it or not.
Ding!
Well, what a drum there. We should mention, guys, Jerry Jones, yikes. He would later apologize for his sort of abrupt response on the radio, but believe this or not, there is a leadership void in Dallas, Kyle.
Will you shut up and let me answer? Is that what you want to say to Nate when he's finishing his thoughts on the statistics? Except there's no apology afterwards. Here's why I know there's a void. Because if you question whether a team has leadership and there's no roar coming from that team, there's a void. People should be screaming right now in Dallas. Put it this way. If they said there's a leadership void in Philadelphia, Jason Kelce would punch someone. Fletcher Cox would punch someone. Doug Peterson. Look around the division. Washington, what they have going on with Ron Rivera. I even think the Giants, even Saquon up in the luxury box, still provides more leadership than they got going on in Dallas. Look around the team. Who is the guy who's like, that's the guy who's always rallying him. That's the guy who's yelling at the ref. That's the guy who's getting in the other team's face. I don't see it. I know I saw Andy Dalton last week screaming on the sideline to some players whose names I don't even know if he knew. So, yeah, Jerry doesn't want to say there's a leadership void because it looks bad on him for putting the team together. But, yeah, when you're America's team and you're this bad and you're getting destroyed by Washington, there's an everything void, and it starts with leadership. How do you deny it? If you say there's not a leadership void, then you're not being a good leader.
100%. Listen, when Dak went down, we were all looking for somebody to step up like Channing Tatum and dance with the team. But all of a sudden, everybody's sitting back looking for somebody to do their job. I always felt like true leaders don't create followers. They create more leaders. So, Mike McCarthy, you come in. Who are the leaders that you created in case Dak went down? In every situation, your quarterback is your leader, right? Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Russell Wilson. The list goes on and on and on. Dak goes down, and all of a sudden, they're on the sideline looking like some sad puppies, and nobody is stepping up. They're on the sideline. The only person that's yelling and showing emotion is Andy Dalton, who just got there. So the question is, yes, there is a void of leadership. And there should be guys. We always talk about the next man up mentality when somebody goes down. Oh, yeah, I can go up there and make a couple plays if Randy Moss goes down. But what happens when they need me to use my voice? Am I going to man up and step up? Or am I going to sit back and fade away like Homer Simpson into the bushes? It seems like the whole Dallas Cowboys team is Homer Simpson right now, fading away from all the pressure that the world is putting on them.
I saw everything I needed to know about that locker room when Andy Dalton got hit by John Bostic, got knocked out, and everyone else was twiddling their fingers and staring at the daisies. And not one person came to his back, and not one person laid out a Washington player, not one person got in anyone's face. They all just went when their quarterback got knocked out of the game with a dirty hit. That's a leadership void. And then it goes to the coach, and I'm saying, okay, well, they're going to respond to him. He calls out the players, and the next day I don't hear anything, Kyle, to your point. Not one of them says, no, wait, hold on a second, coach. I'm a leader. Let me take this team. We always talk about it comes from the top to the bottom. Look, I don't care if it's Andy Dalton, Ben DiNucci, or anyone. Your quarterback gets laid out. Someone needs to do something afterwards. It's a hockey mentality. You take out my center, I am going to take care of him. I got his back. Andy Dalton got laid out on national television, and the Cowboys did the same exact thing every person did on their couch. I just sat and watched. And that, to me, is inexcusable. And
are we being unfair, Peter? There's some veterans on that team, guys like Sean Lee, some of the linemen, guys who've been around forever. Are we overlooking them, and maybe they do more than we're seeing on the sideline because they didn't punch someone? Is that unfair?
I would have liked seeing someone punch someone.
I did, too.
A little bit of fight.
Expected to be Ben DiNucci? He's the quarterback, right? What's our expectation for this young kid?
Let's see what happens.
Don't line up under the guard. I mean, if the Cowboys are lining on Ben DiNucci, they got more problems. Listen, I don't look at Ben DiNucci. I look at Mike McCarthy.
Yeah.
And I think this team feels like a bunch of very beautiful parts, a very beautiful man or woman with no brain. And look at what Tampa Bay's got going on. Same thing. They assembled an all-star team. They want to play for Bruce. They got Tom Brady screaming at people. Dallas is running amok. You can have a bunch of stars and beautiful parts. You got to have somebody to run it. But Mike McCarthy, I didn't see him screaming at anybody in Washington either.
Well, who hired Mike McCarthy?
Jerry Jones.
Who's doing interviews on a Tuesday morning?
Jerry Jones.
At GMFB with your thoughts on these Cowboys. Let's talk about a former Cowboy, guys. The Ravens, they signed. That mean? They signed wide receiver Dez Bryant, guys, to the practice squad. Dez hasn't played since he was on the Cowboys. That was way back in 2017. Here's his tweet. My emotions running high right now. I'm thankful. I can't stop crying. Believe it or not, Nate, Dez Bryant will eventually make a significant impact on the Ravens offense. Ravens Steelers this week, by the way.
Forget about eventually. He's already done that. Right now, in the moment he signed, he made the impact. You know why? Because he is a living, breathing, walking representation of a guy who was a legend without a Super Bowl ring. So these guys are sitting back. Lamar Jackson is always getting criticized for not taking that extra step in the playoffs and making it to a Super Bowl. He's looking at a dude every day walking into his facility saying, holy smokes, that's Dez Bryant, who is well respected, one of the best Cowboys of all time, and he doesn't have a ring. Is that going to be me? I don't care how good I am. I don't care how many touchdowns I score. I don't care how many MVPs I win. 10 years down the line, am I going to be Dez Bryant? And this isn't me taking a shot at Dez Bryant. I hope he wins a ring with the Ravens. I just feel like now the motivation is a walking representation of a guy who has lived his career, put in so much work, had the injuries and the criticism, but he doesn't have the jewelry in the jewelry.
All right, so can he still play? There's a group of guys who, when I hear the glass break and their music plays in the arena, I'm always like, oh, damn, they're here? I mean, it's Dez, it's definitely Percy Harvin, it's still T.O., it's Jeff George. Any of those guys come out of the locker room, I still believe they can play. I don't know if Dez Bryant's going to convert on 3rd and 8. Here's what I like about it, though, whether he's the practice squad or whether he does make the game squad. There's something that Baltimore's missing in that sense of, like, this is our division now, all right? Pittsburgh is undefeated. There's a lot of heat right there. Like, there's a dog in Dez Bryant, and we have not seen that in some very, very big stages for Baltimore. I like what he brings intangibly. 3rd and 8, can he get 9 yards still? We'll see. But Dez Bryant likes to fight guy, and I think Baltimore needs a little bit of that.
He's only 31.
Yeah, he's only 31, and we haven't seen him in so long. I like it. Look, he's on the practice squad right now, which is, I don't know, I'd like to see him signed to the actual active roster, but let's say he does get onto the active roster. 3rd and 3 from the 5-yard line in a big game, you could throw that little alley-oop pass. Dez Bryant's catching that over every single corner in the league. I don't care if he's 250 pounds and can't run anymore. He's still Dez Bryant and still has that height, still has that physicality. There's a role for him in this offense. But to Kyle, to your point, he ain't the number 1, probably not the number 2, and I would be surprised if he's the number 3 at this point.
Nate, he's not like a speed guy. Like, speed is what leaves you when you age, right? When you get older in the league. Isn't the way he plays conducive to playing late, like into your 30s?
Dez Bryant has never been a blazer.
Yeah.
He's always been a really good route runner who uses his body to catch the ball. So like Peter's saying, if you throw the fade ball, he'll go up and get it. But more importantly, if you throw a slant route, he's going to box out a dude like a power forward in the NBA, and he's going to catch the rock. I guarantee he'll make the active roster. I'm not sure what he's going to do when he gets on it, but he's a great compliment to this team.
Smile going on there.
Because listen, he's a great compliment. You have Marquise Hollywood Brown, who is what? The fast guy.
Yeah.
So if you have a guy that can take the top off the coverage, you put Dez Bryant's big frame in the slot up against small 5'10", 5'9" DBs, he's going to win that every time.
I don't know. Do you think it's weird, Peter, that they would sign someone as big name and as experienced as Dez Bryant just to be on the practice squad?
No, it's not common. That's why I'm like scratching my head. I'm like, why don't I just put him on the regular team?
Maybe they want him to work for it.
Yeah, I guess.
Sure, but I don't think they would sign him if they weren't expecting to be on the regular.
It could also be an insurance policy, because what happened last year at the end of the season for the Ravens? They were decimated by injuries. Yeah, Mark Ingram,
So you stash him?
Guys, you stash him. Now he's sitting on practice squad. Maybe at the end of the season when they need him, Dez Bryant steps up.
How good does this no delay feel?
This is unbelievable.
I can't even begin to tell you. It's like a warm, hot bath. Warm and hot. Doesn't even make sense.
Warm, hot,
warm. It's also cold. I don't care. I've been on a delay for 7 months. You can't hear my gold over here.
All the temperatures.
Okay, more Good Morning Football. Rough week 7 for all of